My name is Brady Smith. I'm a tech lead here at Zoo. I've been here for about 7 years and kind of work throughout the development floor. So Zoo is a digital agency, so that means we kind of handle a lot of digital problems for clients. We don't really have a product we offer per se, but we kind of instead offer services and kind of problem solving, kind of creative solution designs and things like that. So we tend to tackle a lot of just really kind of any kind of digital problem kind of across the board. So things from websites to mobile applications and kind of everything in between. My role here at Zoo is a technical lead, which is really just a fun name for somebody who kind of solves a lot of our problems. I tend to be involved in kind of the high-level communication between our clients, between our developers, between our executive and anybody who really needs help kind of getting that message across. But it also means actually developing the solution as well and kind of architecting the solution. So I can kind of sometimes be considered a senior developer, but also somebody who kind of just is that a little bit more the communication side of things.
My name is Jessica Forster and I work as a product owner here at Zoo since 1 year. Work very closely with the development team and contact person for the client and then coordinate all the tasks with the development team. So I'm the main contact for the client, so I get all the requests, I collect the requirements for different projects, coordinate with the development team, or depending if we have different projects, so depending if it goes through the strategy design teams as well, like all the tasks, do the planning, the timeline planning, budget planning, and then oversee all the project while it's going on. I'm kind of the communicator towards the client and towards the internal teams.
My name is Megan McLean and I'm the HR administrator with Zoo. We provide digital solutions to clients, to businesses. So whether that be through app development, website development, through strategy. My role is people strategies. So whether that entails recruiting, I like to say office counselor sometimes, performance management, training and development, general morale upkeep. That's sort of how I would consider my role at Zoo.
My name is Deidre Lane and I'm the People Strategies Director at Zoo. When we go into high schools, we want to talk to kids about tech. By the time they get into the university, or even to grade 12, they've already probably chosen the career path. We like to go into grade 11 and 12 and start talking about secondary education. And so for us, we talk about tech. Because going into tech, everybody used to think it would be you'd be sitting in a basement and you'd be by yourself and it was like the uncool place to be. Now tech has become such a hot topic. It doesn't matter if you're going in as a computer programmer or into any other career, whether you're a gym teacher or a dentist, you have to understand tech. So when you choose tech in your first year of university, that doesn't even necessarily mean you have to be going into computer science. What it means is you have to take an interest in tech so we can allow the tech community to flourish. And so hopefully that will then find more career paths. We have to start talking to parents. Those children need to start talking to their parents about their post-secondary education instead of going into the traditional zones. So you could be going into a computer science degree and you might end up being an account manager. You could go in to be a dentist and you might end up in computer science. For us, what is most important is to start talking about tech. So it's so important for us that high school students understand tech. It isn't on the top of the list. You have doctor, lawyer, engineer, teacher, the basic thinking. But going into tech is something in the last 5 years we've been able to open the doors up. It's something we're really proud of. And so for high school kids, what we want to say is not go be a computer science major. We say start taking some tech classes and kind of see where it leads. Once you start getting in there, you might understand that you might like math. You might like critical thinking. You might like paths within the tech sector, which is so important to us in Saskatoon to evolve, as well as the rest of the tech community in the country.
Communication is a big part of my day. I usually start my day with a check-in with my team to get everyone aligned on the task and the priorities for the day. And then during the day, I keep the client updated on ongoing tasks. I get new tasks, and then kind of the coordination that goes along with it, creating tasks, or we call it tickets, for the team, the scheduling of the task, finding the right resource, and then also keep checking in on ongoing tasks, checking the budget, all these kind of things.
Every day is different, and I know often everyone will probably say that, but it does look different every day because people have different needs, so whatever that might be. can dictate what your day might look like. So you might have this perfect plan of like, oh, I have a recruitment meeting then, or people strategies, or a couple of check-ins with employees. That can sort of all flip on a dime depending on what people's needs or the business's needs are. In a nutshell, essentially it would be sort of recruitment, check-ins with people on their performance management, looking at training, administrative party planning. You know, we're also like a big piece of what we do. It has to do with also just morale and staff culture.
Technical lead is kind of a culmination of the developer career path. Like, it's one of the higher positions. You can go higher than this, but kind of in terms of kind of being somebody who writes code every day, the entry path for that is developer. And to get to be a developer, the schooling that is required is variable. So it's one of these kind of interesting careers where there's a lot of different ways to get in if it's something you're interested in. The traditional route is university, computer science. Most of the major universities will offer that, and that's kind of the route that I took. That was paired up with the internship program, which is kind of a really clear way to get into development. That would have offered me kind of a lot of different opportunities across Canada, across Saskatoon, things like that. I have colleagues that have gone to Sask Polytech, and they're fantastic developers. So that kind of going to that technical schooling is another really good way. And we actually even have a couple guys who are self-taught, and they've kind of been able to go on the internet, because the internet is kind of created by people in my field. They kind of want to share what they've learned. So there's a ton of really good, just resources if you want to self-teach. That's the most difficult route to get into development. But if you can kind of tackle that and kind of you have the drive, there's a lot of different ways to become a developer.
I can't necessarily speak to tech in like a very general sense. I can certainly speak to the tech people at Zoo. And we've really retained and drawn in people that are incredibly autonomous and act like owners, which as an HR person is like the absolute dream, because people are just driven by their own desire to succeed and their team to succeed and Zoo to succeed. So they're incredibly self-motivated, they are disciplined, they are eternal learners. They're always going above and beyond to find out the newest tech trends and what's kind of coming down the pipe. So they're incredibly passionate about what they do. So I've seen that like fairly consistent as a through line for all of our staff, which makes it really exciting to be a part of.
So there's very much a typical kind of personality who becomes a developer. That's kind of me. They're the people who kind of excel at math. They kind of excel at logic. They're the kind of high schoolers who enjoy board games and kind of building systems and kind of tearing them apart. But the field is also wide enough that there's a lot of room for the non-kind of logical people. We have a lot of people here who are more creative. They would have been more the kind of artistic students, and they kind of go into the more of the design and the kind of development that kind of works with that I'm actually not very strong in at all. It's hard to characterize your average developer. Just because it's such a wide field. But if we did, it'd be the kind of the math, the science, those people who like video games and board games and things like that. Development, that was one of the things that really did appeal to me. If I'd kind of stuck with the pharmacy route, I would have been by myself. But working as a developer on a team, it really allows me to work with a bunch of different people who are complementary to my own set of skills. So we can kind of work with people who are maybe better at talking to people on my behalf, and I can kind of work with people who kind of can build better kind of UI experiences than I can build, and I can kind of bring that extra piece to the puzzle. So it ends up being a really collaborative experience. I spend the majority of my time not really by myself writing code, but kind of bouncing between those scenarios where I'm working by myself and then kind of collaborating with other people to build their code or show them what I'm building or kind of work on something together.
There are very amazing traditional careers. This is a very non-traditional, amazing career. This career is legitimately anything you want it to be. The amount of control you have in this career with a university degree, I would think is without boundaries in my head. If you go into computer science, you can be a computer programmer. You could also go into design and you could be a designer. You could go into business, and if you understand tech, you could run the business side of a tech company. With that, it's endless. So we have our tech lead, who has a computer science degree. He runs so much business within our organization. I'm in people strategies, so I run the HR and the operations. With that, it allows me to just understand tech a little bit more. But when you come in the other side and you're understanding tech from a different angle, The boundaries are, what I mean about boundaries is you can be in the computer science programming and you can be at a desk with a team. You can be talking to other clients. You can be talking with me on HR and career pathing with other people. So whatever you want your job to be with a tech background is 100% possible. Unfortunately, you can make amazing money in tech right now. For me specifically, it gives us a little bit of a struggle. The competition is fierce right now. You can double your income 5 years out of university if you want to. With that, it takes so much drive. You have to be motivated. It's just like being an accountant. It's constantly changing, the rules are changing, the people you're working around are changing. You have to have a people aspect so that you can work with teams. People will want you. The only other thing I could assimilate it to would be a hockey team. You can be the best hockey player in the world, but if nobody wants you on their team because you're a jerk, you're out. The game is over. So I think that as much as the technology is important, working with people is crucial, and if you can combine them and find a sweet spot, you can make money, you can have the best career path in the world.